Good morning, students. In the previous video lectures, we have learned meaning of the term joint stock company, features of a joint stock company, meaning of the term corporate veil, and the circumstances under which corporate veil may be lifted. That too, lifting of corporate veil under judicial interpretations, as well as lifting of corporate veil under express statutory provisions we have learned. Now today in this session, let us discuss about different kinds or types of companies. So companies can be classified on a different basis. Let us discuss about these classifications one by one. First one, classification of companies from the point of view of incorporation or registration. So on the basis of incorporation, companies can be classified into three types: chartered companies, statutory companies, and registered companies. Come to the first one, chartered companies. As the very name indicates, chartered companies are those companies which are incorporated or registered under the charter issued by the king or queen. Charter means law passed by the king or queen. ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಪಾಸು ಮಾಡಿದಂತಹ ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಆಧಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಂದಣಿಗೊಂಡಂತಹ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕರಿತೇವೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾರಿ ಔಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ವಿಚ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟೆಡ್. ದೇ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಬಿ ಬೌಂಡ್ ಬೈ ದ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ವಿಚ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್. ಈ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ವ್ಯವಹಾರವನ್ನು ಆ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಆ ನಿಯಮಗಳ ಆಧಾರದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಈ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ವ್ಯವಹಾರವು ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿದಂಥ ನಿಯಮಕ್ಕೆ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ದಿಸ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ವಯೋಲೇಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ವಿಚ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟೆಡ್. ಸಪೋಸ್ ಇಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ವಯೋಲೇಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್, the king or queen has the power to treat the company as not having any separate legal existence. King or queen may treat that company as invalid. That means that company is not having separate legal existence, and hence the members will be held liable for their acts. Members or the directors who are responsible for violating the ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹೆಲ್ಡ್ ಲಯಬಲ್. ಸೊ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಪಾಸು ಮಾಡಿದ ಕಾನೂನಿಗೆ ವಿರುದ್ಧವಾಗಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ಮಾಡುವ ಹಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನು ಉಲ್ಲಂಘನೆ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರತ್ಯೇಕ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಕಿಂಗ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ವೀನ್ ಮೇ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೇ ಮೇ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಸಚ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್. Examples for chartered companies are Bank of England, East India Company, and so on. And in India, now these types of companies are not formed because we don't have king or queen rule in India. Now come to the second one, statutory companies. Statutory companies are those companies which are registered under the special act of either central government or state government. They are registered under the special act of the parliament or state legislature. Examples are Reserve Bank of India or State Bank of India or Industrial Finance Corporation of India or Unit Trust of India or Life Insurance Corporation of India, and so on. And these companies are governed by the provisions of the special act under which they are incorporated. ಈ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನಿಗೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಚರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಕಾನೂನನ್ನು ಪಾಸು ಮಾಡಲಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಕಾನೂನು ಪಾಸು ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸಿನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನೋಂದಣಿಗೊಂಡು ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ನಡೆಸುವಂತಹ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟ್ಯುಟರಿ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಜನರಲಿ ಟೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟಿ ಸರ್ವೀಸಸ್. They are formed for providing public utility services like supply of water, electricity, power, gas supply undertakings, and so on. Move on to the next one, registered companies. These companies are registered under the Companies Act. Companies Act of 1956 or any other previous Companies Act or Companies Act passed after the Companies Act of 1956. They are registered under the Companies Act. ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ನೋಂದಣಿಗೊಂಡು ವ್ಯವಹಾರ ನಡೆಸುವಂತಹ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಮೆನಿ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಸ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ MRPL ಕಂಪನಿ, MCF ಕಂಪನಿ, or Reliance company, and so on. So many examples you can give. Move on to the next classification. Classification of registered companies on the basis of liability of members. ಸೊ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಗಳ ಹೊಣೆಗಾರಿಕೆ ಆಧಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳನ್ನು 3 ವಿಧವಾಗಿ ವಿಂಗಡಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಶೇರ್ಸ್, ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅನ್ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್. ಸೊ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಶೇರ್ಸ್? As a very name indicates, in the case of companies limited by shares, liability of members is limited to the extent of face value of shares held by them. Members will not be asked to pay even 1 paisa more than the face value of the shares held by them. If Mr. X is holding 10 shares of rupees 100, his liability is limited to the extent of rupees 1000. 10 into 100, that is 1000. He will not be asked to pay even 1 paisa more than rupees 1000. Liability is limited to the extent of face value of the shares held by a member. Most of the trading companies are of this type. In most of the trading companies, liability of a member is limited to the extent of face value of shares held by him. Move on to the next one, companies limited by guarantee. So these companies may or may not have share capital, and the liability of a member is limited to a fixed amount which he has agreed to contribute at the time of winding up of the company. If the company has share capital, in that case liability is limited to the extent of face value of the shares held by him plus the amount which he has guaranteed to contribute to the funds of the company at the time of winding up. ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಲಿಮಿಟೆಡ್ ಬೈ ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಅಂದರೆ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಈ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೇ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಆದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆಂಬರ್ನ ಹೊಣೆಗಾರಿಕೆ ಅವನು ಎಷ್ಟು ಮೊತ್ತದ ಶೇರನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಫೇಸ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದ್ದ ಶೇರನ್ನು ಅವನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದಾನೆ, ಅದು ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಒಂದು ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಅವನು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ಕಂಪನಿ ವೈಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಅಪ್ ಆಗೋಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ನಾನು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ, ಅಷ್ಟಕ್ಕೆ ಸೀಮಿತ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ಹೋಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ 10 shares of rupees 100 and if he has agreed to contribute rupees 1000 at the time of winding up of the company, in such a case his liability is limited to the extent of rupees 2000. 1000 is the face value of the share plus the guaranteed amount which he has agreed to contribute to the funds of the company at the time of winding up. Suppose if the company has no share capital, in such a case liability is limited to the extent of the amount which each partner has guaranteed to contribute at the time of winding up of the company. ಕಂಪನಿ ಮುಚ್ಚುವಾಗ ಇಷ್ಟು ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವನು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಅಮೌಂಟಿಗೆ ಅವನ ಲಯಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಸೀಮಿತ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ 1 ಪೈಸೆ ಸಹ ಅವನಿಗೆ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, unlimited companies. In the case of unlimited companies, as the very name indicates, liability of a member is unlimited. That means to make good the losses of the company, he will be required to contribute even from his private estate. Liability is not limited to the extent of face value of shares held by a member. It extends even to his personal properties. Companies Act has given provision for the formation of unlimited companies, but they are rarely found. ಇಂಥ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳನ್ನು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇದೆ, ಆದರೆ ಅಂಥ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವೆ. ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಆಫ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್, companies can be divided into 2 important types. First one, private company, and the second one, public company. On the basis of number of members, companies can be divided into 2 types. First one is private companies and the second one is public company. Which are these private companies? Companies Act of 1956 and Companies Act of 2013 have given the definition of the term private company. As per Companies Act of 2013, a private company is a company which conditions are the following. First one, limits the maximum number of members to 200, excluding the present and past employee members. Second condition, limits or restricts the transferability of shares by its members. Third condition, restricts the issue of prospectus to the public. And the next one, has a minimum paid up share capital of rupees 1 lakh. So these are all the conditions that have to be fulfilled in order to call a company as a private company. In a private company, minimum number of members is 2 and maximum is 200 as per Companies Act of 2013. But as per the provisions of Companies Act of 1956, minimum number of members is 2 and maximum is 50, excluding the present and past employee members. And the second condition, it restricts the transferability of shares by its members. Private companies prohibits the transferability of shares, free transferability of shares by their members. There is a restriction on transferability of shares because there is a restriction on maximum number of members in a private company. And these private companies are generally formed by the members of the same family or by friends, relatives who are known to each other. So here there is a restriction on transferability of shares. Similarly, these companies do not issue prospectus. They do not invite the public to buy the shares or debentures of the company. Private company prohibits the issue of prospectus, and private companies should have a minimum paid up share capital of rupees 1 lakh. This is the definition given under Companies Act of 2013. As per Companies Act of 1956, keep it in your mind, minimum number of members in a private company is 2 members and maximum is 50. Now, provisions of Companies Act of 2013 are applicable. So, minimum number of members is 2 and maximum is 200, excluding the present and past employee members. Now, what are the characteristics of a private company? See, the following are the characteristics. First one, it is a voluntary association. There is no compulsion on anybody to become a member or to continue the membership or to give up the membership. ಸ್ವ ಇಚ್ಛೆಯಿಂದ ಒಬ್ಬ ಈ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗೆಯೇ ಈ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಮೆಂಬರ್ಶಿಪ್ಪನ್ನು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ಸಲ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಬೋದು. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಎ ವಾಲಂಟರಿ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್. And second one, share capital. A private company also raises share capital by issuing shares, but those shares are issued to their own members. All members are known members. So this company raises capital by issuing shares to its own members. It does not invite the public to buy the shares or debentures, and its capital, share capital, is limited when compared to the capital of a public company. Because in a public company there is no restriction on maximum number of members. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ 200 ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಶೇರ್ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕಂಪೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯದ್ದು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಫೀಚರ್, ಮೆಂಬರ್ಶಿಪ್. ಜಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ 1956 as well as per Companies Act of 2013 is 2 members, but maximum is, as per Companies Act of 1956, maximum number of members in a private company is 50, excluding present and past employee members. But as per the provisions of Companies Act of 2013, maximum number of members is restricted to 200 members, excluding the present and past employee members. Move on to the next one, incorporated association. So without incorporation or registration, no joint stock company can be formed. ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಟೈಪಿನ ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈವನ್ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂಡ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಅತಿ ಅಗತ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯನ್ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್. ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ ಆದ ಮೇಲೆಯೇ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆನ್ ಇನ್ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಟೆಡ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್. Similarly, it is an artificial person created by law. These aspects we have already discussed in the previous video lectures. While explaining the features of a joint stock company in general, I have explained these aspects in detail. So, a private company is also an artificial person created by law. Just like a natural person, a joint stock company also gets all the rights, like right to hold any property in its own name, or just like a natural person, it gets its own name. It can enter into contract in its own name. It can sue and be sued in the court of law in its own name. ಒಂದು ಖಾಸಗಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ಕೃತಕ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕಾನೂನು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನಿಗಿರುವ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೈಟುಗಳು ಒಂದು ಖಾಸಗಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ವೋಟಿಂಗ್ ರೈಟ್ ಇರೋದು ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ಸಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ. ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಕೂಡ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಅದೊಂದು ರೈಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಉಳಿದ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೈಟ್ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸಿಗೆ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಯಾವುದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಜಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎ ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಲೀಗಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. It is quite distinct from the members who own it. So, company can carry out activities in its own name. It has corporate personality. A private company also has a separate legal existence. Its life is not affected by the death, insanity or insolvency of its members. Okay. Again, a private company is formed for specific objects. Private company is also formed for achieving certain objectives which are stated in its constitution, that is memorandum of association. Private ಕಂಪನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮೆಮೊರಾಂಡಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅದರ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸನ್ನು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಅಪ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ದೋಸ್ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್ which are mentioned in its memorandum of association. It can employ its funds only for the purposes stated in its memorandum of association ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಘಟನಾ ಮನವಿ ಪತ್ರ. Similarly, it prohibits invitation to the public. Just now definition ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ, a private company does not invite the public to buy its shares and debentures. A private company does not issue prospectus. Prospectus ಅನ್ನು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಮಾಡುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. Because in a private company, maximum number of members is restricted to 200 as per the provisions of Companies Act of 2013. All are known members. Question of inviting the public to buy the shares and debentures does not arise in a private company. That is why it prohibits the issue of prospectus or it prohibits invitation to the public. Similarly, it restricts the right to transfer shares as and when you like. You cannot transfer your shares. There are certain restrictions on the transferability of shares because there is a restriction on maximum number of members. Maximum number of members ಗೆ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದ್ದ ಕಾರಣ ಶೇರ್ಸನ್ನು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವು ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು, ಕೆಲವು ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಅವರ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇರಲಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಕೆಲವು ನಿರ್ಬಂಧಗಳು ಇದೆ. ಫ್ರೀಯಾಗಿ ಶೇರ್ಸನ್ನು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಮೆಂಬರಿಗೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಕೋಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್. ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹ ಅದು ಕೋಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹ ನಿಮಗೆ ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಶೇರ್ಸ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದರ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಷನ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರಬಿಲಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಶೇರ್ಸ್. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, limited liability. Liability of the members of a private company is also limited to the extent of face value of shares held by them. Similarly, perpetual succession or perpetual existence or continuous existence. Life of a private company is also not affected by the death, insanity or insolvency of its members. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅದೇ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ. men may come, men may go, or members may come and members may go, but I go on forever till my activities are wound up as per the provisions of ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವಂತಹ ನಿಯಮ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೈವೇಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ, ಖಾಸಗಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಪಚುವಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಈಗ ಹೇಳುವುದಿದ್ರೆ there is a private company. Let us suppose that there is a private company called X and Y Private Company Limited. So this company has just 2 members, X and Y. Minimum number of members required to form a private company is 2 members, and they were conducting certain sort of business. One day both of them were going to some place by some vehicle. Say for example, they were riding a bicycle, or they were riding a bike, and unfortunately they met with an accident and both of them expired in the accident. What happens to the existence of the company? Keep it in your mind. Company's business won't come to an end. It does not affect the business of the company, because on the death, insanity or insolvency of members, shares will be automatically transmitted to the names of legal representatives, and those legal representatives may continue the activities of the company. Suppose if they are not willing, they have to wind up the affairs of the company as per the provisions of Companies Act. ಅವರು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು ಪಾಲಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡುವವರೆಗೆ ಆ ಕಂಪನಿಗೆ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಇಬ್ಬರೇ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಇದ್ದು ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮೆಂಬರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಡೆತ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಅಥವಾ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮೆಂಬರ್ಗಳದ್ದು ಕೂಡ ದಿವಾಳಿ ಆದರೂ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಕೂಡ, ಅಥವಾ ಇಬ್ಬರು ಮೆಂಬರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಮತಿಭ್ರಮಣೆ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಆದರೂ ಸಹ ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಇಸ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಲೀಗಲಿ and it must be closed also legally as per the provisions of Companies Act. As I said earlier, company is the child of law, and company must follow the provisions given under law. ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಮಗು, ಕಾನೂನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದನ್ನು ಕೇಳಬೇಕದು. ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಸ್ಥಾಪಿತವಾದಂಥದ್ದು ಕಾನೂನಿನ ಪ್ರಕಾರವೇ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಕಾನೂನಿನ ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು ಪಾಲಿಸಿಯೇ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು ಹೋದ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸಿಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಕಂಪನಿಗೇನೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಅ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಯಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್. ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ, there is a separation of ownership from management. Ownership of a private company is also in the hands of shareholders. They are the owners, but the management of the company is in the hands of elected representatives of these members or shareholders. We call them as directors. So directors, that board of directors, manage the day-to-day activities of the company on behalf of the shareholders. So there is a separation of ownership from management. Ownership is in the hands of shareholders, whereas management is in the hands of board of directors. Board of directors are the elected representatives of shareholders. So elected representatives of shareholders of a company are individually called as directors, and collectively we call them as board of directors. So in a joint stock company, there is separation of ownership from management. Even in the case of private company, there is a separation of ownership from management. Hope everything is clear to you. Thank you, students. Have a very nice day.